Welcome to the Bluegrass Weather Report for Friday, February 10th, 2023. I'm Meteorologist Shane Smith, and as we head into the weekend before Valentine's Day, we have a storm system that could be a heartbreaker for some snow fans, as there could be a pretty big hit of snow somewhere within just 100 miles of Kentucky. But the question is, could we see any here in the Bluegrass? Let's break down those chances. Right now, we have a cold front crossing across the state, and trust me, I bet you felt it today. We didn't get the rain that I thought we would, but we certainly got the wind. It has been on the blustery side today. I saw a gust reported earlier up in Frankfort pushing close to 70 miles per hour. And as that front crosses, the Commonwealth cooler air is moving in. We're going to see temperatures very typical of February as we go into Friday and Saturday, with highs into the 40s and lows into the 20s by Saturday morning. So getting back to some very typical early to mid-February weather. But what's not typical is the setup taking place for this weekend. We have got something very unique and interesting going to go on, and I'm going to show you this using the North American Mesoscale model. So by this weekend, we're now into Saturday morning. You can catch me on WKYT this weekend. We're going to be dry on Saturday across most of the Bluegrass. The next 2 days looking dry. Cool but dry, so nothing to really get too excited about. But look what happens Sunday morning. Notice this comma shape over the southeast. This is an area of upper level low pressure that is going to develop over the southeast, generate its own cold air, and could potentially produce snow in far southeast Kentucky during the day on Sunday. Now, this is not a guarantee yet, and this is a very unique and rare setup, but it is something that bears watching this weekend. Here's what happens in a setup like this, and I'm going to bring the camera back up to here for just a second. So we have to remember the atmosphere is kind of like a cake, right? It's stacked in layers. And as we go up generally in the atmosphere, it gets colder. So sometimes what can happen with a really strong area of low pressure is it can pull that cold air from the upper atmosphere down towards the surface. And that's what the models are hinting at as we head towards this weekend storm system. Pulling that cold air down cold enough that we may actually create the conditions for some heavy wet snow during the day on Sunday in our far southeast counties. This is not going to be an all Kentucky event. This is not even going to be a most of Kentucky event. But for my friends down along the Virginia border, this could be a very interesting event. And this is a look at what the North American Mesoscale model is showing for snow potential. So I'm going to zoom in. Now, this is not a snow forecast. I am not endorsing this 100% per se, but I just want to show you what the models are spitting out. And that light blue is like an inch or two. When you start getting into the darker blues, that's 2 to 4 inches. The purple is 6 inches plus. And notice down like towards Gatlinburg, they may push a foot this weekend if this model is right. But this is a very hard setup to forecast because everything has to come together exactly to get that cold air to pull down. And not all the models are showing this. So let's take a few minutes and do a model deep dive. So this one's going to be a little longer than one of my typical forecasting videos, but I want to show you kind of model by model what the potential is and what I think is going to happen for this weekend. So here we go. Friday and Saturday dry on the GFS model. Notice that upper level low starts spinning up. It too starts generating some snow Sunday morning down along the Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia border and pushes it out by Monday morning. And as far as how much snow it's showing, there you go. I'm not going to get too specific with the totals, but I'll let you just look at it. You can read the map for yourself. Once again, this is not my forecast. This is what one model is showing. The European model, not as aggressive with the snow chance with its 18Z run. Friday and Saturday dry. Here comes that upper low. Little bit of snow action. Far southeast Kentucky. It's showing a skiff. Less than an inch right there along the border. This is the global Canadian model. There's that upper low. It's a little farther east and not as intense, so it's not showing as much snow. In fact, next to nothing, and that's a pretty big whiff from the Canadian model. NAM model, once again, here's a different look at it. Showing that cold air pulling down, especially off to our south. This latest run from it, that was the previous run. There's the latest run. So notice, even run to run, we're seeing some big differences still. So this is not a surefire thing by any stretch of the imagination just yet. And here's the regional Canadian model. Once again showing that upper low. It's a little bit further east though. Very similar to the global Canadian. Not as much snow. Little light amount. So what does it all mean? Well, I think there is at least a chance that Sunday could get really interesting down along the Virginia border. It's all going to come down to a couple things. It's going to come down to the track and the intensity of that upper level low. The closer that low gets to Kentucky, the better shot we have of winter weather. Usually we want to be on the north side of a low pressure for snow in Kentucky, but that's assuming that low is pulling down cold air from Canada. This is not cold air at the surface that's coming laterally across the land. This is cold air from the upper atmosphere getting pulled straight down from the far heavens above down to the surface. It's a very unique setup. There's a lot that can go wrong in this forecast, but it's something we're going to keep a close eye on. So I will likely have a video update, a short one, Saturday night here on the channel. I will be filling in at WKYT this weekend, so tune in. This one could be interesting, friends, especially from our folks down along the Virginia border. So places like Whitesburg, Harlan, Middlesboro, Pineville, Williamsburg, over towards Dorton, southern Pike County. These are spots that it could get interesting. Not a sure thing yet. It's going to be very, very dependent on how this all plays out. But there's at least a chance. For the rest of us, a pretty quiet weekend on tap here in the Bluegrass. Get out and enjoy it. And if you're looking for a better bet on the snow, maybe head down to the mountains of North Carolina or the mountains of Tennessee down around Gatlinburg. I bet Ober-Gatlinburg Sunday and Monday could be a whole lot of fun. Shameless plug for those folks. So that's all we've got. I know this video is a little bit longer. It's something I'll be tracking through the weekend. Follow me on social media, Shane Smith Media on Twitter and TikTok. Meteorologist Shane Smith on Facebook. And I will be providing the latest updates as I get them, and I'll have a couple of little posts here and there, and we'll do another video most likely on Saturday. And be sure to tune in on WKYT Saturday morning from 6 to 8 and Sunday morning from 7 to 9. So we may be tracking some heavy snow on Sunday. All right, till next time, folks, take care, stay weather aware. Wow!